We're here at MAC Football Media Day at Ford Field in Detroit. Todd Walker here, Coach Dave Clawson of the Falcons. And Coach, coming into this year, some high expectations. And as we've talked with you over the years, you talked about building the program, and maybe this is the year it all comes to fruition with a MAC championship. I'm obviously excited about upcoming season.
Very excited, but there's a lot of work to do between being here in July and getting back here in December. And that's the challenge of coaching, that things are going to happen through the year, whether it's injuries, internal issues, performance of players. So it's, the challenge is in the journey, and that's certainly exciting too, because things are going to happen and you just don't know what those things are right now.
Well, no doubt when you look at your team, so many familiar names back, a vast majority of your starters are back this season. How does that change your approach in camp upcoming here with a veteran team like that? How do you prepare differently than maybe in years past?
Well, I don't know if you prepare for games differently, but I certainly think one of our challenges this year now is establishing depth. A guy like Gabe Martin maybe doesn't need as many reps, but we got some younger players that may have to step into prominent roles if there's injuries, and I think getting that group ready so that if we do lose somebody, there's not a drop-off or a significant drop-off becomes the challenge. So you do things a little bit different with the reps, but it's certainly a good position to be in. I mean, we very methodically have built a program. And one of the benefits is we finally have a senior class. We finally have fifth-year seniors. We have a lot of players that have played a lot of football for us, and a number of them are all conference players. So, we got to make sure that those guys get to the opener against Tulsa healthy, fresh, and ready to go.
Last year, 8 wins, a bowl berth, certainly a successful season. As the season went on and as we look back on it, maybe the passing game on the offensive side was the thing that didn't quite get to where you wanted it to be. To this point, what have your guys done to make that passing game get to the next level?
Well, that's the one thing that I think players can work on their own in the offseason. They don't have pads on, so those guys are getting together a couple times a week and throwing the ball. But, I mean, there's no question that that was an area we underperformed last year. We didn't throw the ball as well as we needed to. We didn't make enough plays in the pass game. And at times, by playing defense and running the football, we were good enough to win some games. But I think a lack of a passing game at times was a reason maybe we didn't win others. So if we want to be a complete program, there's no question that that's a point of emphasis. We worked very hard at it in the spring, and the plan in camp is to work very hard at it. But you also have guys back. Chris Gowan was a first-time starter. Ryan Burbrink was a first-time starter. Sean Joplin, even though he had played before, was a first-time starter. So we've built depth at that position, and we need a couple of guys to really step up and become big-time players for us.
Running back last year was a position of depth, and a lot of those guys played. Some of those guys are not back. John Pettigrew has graduated. Anton Samuel not with the team now. Andre Givens, Jamel Martin may get a chance to figure more prominently then.
Yeah, I think there's opportunity. We certainly have numbers and we have talent at the position, but we need someone to step up. I mean, last year it was Anton, and then Pettigrew ended up having a great year for us. And at Media Day a year ago, you said John Pettigrew is going to be one of your primary running backs. I don't think anybody anticipated that, but he stepped up and worked really hard and became a good player for us. So we need that to happen again. And between the guys in the program, the guys we signed, I'm confident that before it's all said and done, we'll have a good tailback.
And defensively, nearly everybody back as well. And that unit was the best in the Mid-American Conference last year. And I'm sure you plan on, I don't know if you want to lean on them necessarily, but you certainly can.
Yeah, but you still have challenges there. I mean, you have a lot of guys back, but there's a defensive tackle we're missing.
Yeah.
And he was a pretty good player for us. And he's playing in the NFL now.
Absolutely.
And certainly Dwayne Woods was a 3-time all-conference player. So in college football, things never stay the same. And there were so many plays last year that Chris Jones, because of a great pass rush or because of penetration, disrupted. And maybe we weren't as good as we needed to be at other spots, but Chris covered that up for us. So those are 2 big holes. But I believe in who we have back. And I think if all those guys raise their level, we still have a chance to be an outstanding defense this year.
Coach, speaking of Chris Jones, we kind of answered one of the questions from Twitter here. If you were on Twitter with us, they wanted to ask how can you replace Chris Jones? Is it just everybody else just has to be a little bit better? And specifically, who will play that position maybe as the starter now that Chris has moved on?
Well, you don't replace Chris one for one, right. But I think Ted Allette's a heck of a player. Jarris Campbell was well on his way to having a great season before he got hurt. Zach Colvin's become a very good player, and we've recruited well at that position. Mike Mins, Isaiah Lunsford, Taylor Royster, those are all guys that can play and give us snaps. What I'm really excited about is to see the development of our ends. I think Brian Thomas, I think Charlie Walker, moving Kendall Montgomery to end, Brian Baird, Ronnie Goebel, Jaleel Crowley. If all those guys raise their level up, that helps fill the void that you're going to miss by not having Chris Jones.
Other questions submitted through Twitter. Starting quarterback, is that a decision that's been made by you and your staff, or is it something you're still holding off on?
Not holding off on it. We're going to let it play out. It's a competition, and we let the competition go through spring, and we're going to let it play out in camp. So, you know, we're not in a rush to make the wrong decision. We're going to let those guys continue to battle, and you know, we'll pick the guy that we think gives us the best chance to win.
Also from Twitter, do you and your guys feel like you're the favorite in the East? Kind of playing off today, the MAC media picked you second behind Ohio. Others have picked you to win the division. You guys, I'm assuming, feel like you're the favorite because you think you're good enough to do it.
Well, I don't like getting into who's the favorite. We have very high expectations for our football team, our football program this football season. And I think we've now are at a point in a program that those expectations are realistic. Now, a lot of things have to happen. There's going to be a fourth quarter game and 30 seconds left, and you know, do you convert the 4th and 1? Do you hit the field goal? All those things have to happen to win the MAC, and there's a very fine line and a very small margin of error to win a conference championship. So it's doing all those things right over and over again that'll put us in a position to win the league. But we certainly feel with what we have back that certainly is our goal, and we believe it's a realistic one.
And certainly a big part of that will be the second week of the season when you visit Kent State. And finally, Coach, a little bit off the field question from Twitter. Eggs, scrambled, sunny side up, or other?
Over medium, wheat toast, but enough of that yolk you can dip it in there and get the yellow stuff all over the toast.
Good man, good man. A follow-up from me, steak, medium, medium rare?
Medium rare.
I like it. Coach Clawson here at MAC Football Media Day. The Falcons are getting ready for the 2013 season.